All right, what up, folks? What is going on? This is episode 281 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Another great Tuesday. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Tuesday so far. So far, so good for me. It is working out, and so hopefully it's working out for you guys. I mean, it's working out for me because I'm behind the microphone once again, giving you content, and hopefully you guys are enjoying. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for the listenership and the viewership. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. The viewership is up. Listenership is definitely up on the podcast side. You guys are really listening to the podcast on various platforms. They're on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. You guys are amazing. I thank you for the uptick in listenership. That's awesome. If this is your first time here, if you're listening on watching on YouTube, and this is your preference, hit the like button, share this video, also subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to the podcast side of things, give me a high rating on that star chart. Also subscribe as well, because if you do subscribe, as soon as I put up a episode, it will show up on your feed, and in some cases it will download for you immediately if you click that option to automatically download. One more thing I want to say before I get started with this episode, because Georgia Southern with these quarterbacks are amazing. But one more thing I want to talk about is real quick. If you want to support this show, if you want to support the show, a link will be down in the description. If you want to donate through Anchor, there's the link down there. Also, if you want to hit my Cash App, that is also on Cash App, obviously, and it's VF Baller 20. VF Baller 20. All the links will be down in the description if you want to go that route to support. I really, really appreciate it. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. Episode 281 of the First and Frame Rate Show. We're chugging right along, getting towards 300. And today we're going to talk about another quarterback that Clay Helton and company lands for Georgia Southern. This is phenomenal of what Clay Helton is doing. I mean, I thought it was a big deal when the Dallas brothers came in. Josh and David came in. Then you turn around, you get Zach Roseman. Then you turn around and you get Kyle Van Treese. You already got Cam Ransom and Connor Segelski. You already have Justin Tomlin. I mean, Quincy Bonner. We got so many quarterbacks. And we turn around and get Brooks Pangle from Greenbrier High School, which is located in Evans, Georgia, near the Augusta area. Let me tell you something. This kid is a walk-on. He decided to come here instead of going to Mercer, which honestly, Mercer is an up-and-coming school, and I give them a lot of credit for doing the big things in the FCS. But we end up getting a quarterback that I think could be very special. And I know I said this a lot about all the other quarterbacks that we have, but I was looking at some of the tape, which I will show some of the tape on here shortly. He looks pretty good. Like all the quarterbacks that we have so far, they have their highlights. They have the really good moments. And like I said, you have a David Dallas. I think it's David is the quarterback. David Dallas, he's a gunslinger. He can throw the ball all over the place. Zach Roseman is another one. A little more pinpoint accuracy with his throws, more his mechanics are more traditional. He can throw the ball over the place. Kyle Van Treese, he's a proven winner, and he was able to win at Buffalo. He can throw the ball very, very well. Cam Ransom, very, very good at throwing the deep ball, and he can move as well. And we got Connor Segelski, very poised quarterback that can move around. Justin Tomlin, dual threat. I mean, we got some really good quarterbacks here, and for him, Brooks Pangle decide to come to Georgia Southern is very, very interesting. I don't know what in the world Coach Clay Helton is doing, but he is getting really good talent here in the Statesboro area. Well, I'm not in Statesboro, but you know what I mean, in the Statesboro area. And not just a quarterback, but everything else around the football team, just talent. And I'm not just talking about players. You're talking about the coaches. You're talking about the staff. I mean, this is a really big deal with this program and the turnaround that has happened when we thought everything was falling after a 3-9 season. But you turn around and you get these type of players, and you still, after all this, can get a quarterback like this guy. Now, I want to talk about a little bit of stats before I give you some highlights of what he's done. Right now, I'm going to look at what he's done in the 2021 alone. 2021, he had a 60% completion percentage, and he threw 21 touchdowns to 1 interception. I'm going to say that again. 60% completion rating, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. That is phenomenal for a kid like this. This is something that's really I don't follow too many stats in high school like that. I think the last person I really followed stats on was Jalen White, our running back at Georgia Southern, because his stats was like off the charts. But when you see a guy like Brooks Pangle, and I looked at his stats, I'm like, okay, this looks good. I'm actually interested. So when you look at the rest of his entire his body of work, for the most part, 2 seasons as a starter. All right, I mean, listen to this. 2 seasons as a starter, he passed for 5,692 yards, 52 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 2 seasons. And he had 4 rushing touchdowns. So these numbers, and the way that, from what I see, the way that he played, I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked that he only got, I ain't gonna say he got just the only offers at Mercer, but it just seemed like between Mercer and Georgia Southern was like the only 2 places he was going to end up going, and he decided to come to Georgia Southern. I'm very shocked that nobody really looked at him like this, and I'm like really impressed. You know, I'm impressed at what he does, and I'm impressed at the way he plays. This is really cool to see that he's going to be a Georgia Southern Eagle. He's walking on, and there's no doubt, I think he'll end up making the team. Quarterback competition is going to be fierce. Quarterback competition is going to be very fierce because, like I said, we have a lot of quarterbacks. When you look at the ones I named, Vantrease, Ransom, Sigelski, Dallas, Tomlin, Bonner, Ransom. I think I said Ransom, but yeah, we got so many quarterbacks. Roseman. So we got so many quarterbacks. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. But when I told you these numbers like jump out at you. Now I want to play this clip real quick. This is from his Twitter feed. Shout out to Brooks Pangle. We're going to look at some of these highlights, and I just want to talk about what I see in real time so you guys can really know what I'm talking about. Now, for you guys that are on the podcast side, I want to apologize. There's no visuals, obviously, on the podcast side. But if you do decide to come back over to the YouTube side of things, you could see this quick segment of the show. So let's get into this and let's see what we are looking at. Let's go. All right, here we go. All right, so there's him. So he moves around in the pocket pretty well. Nice throw and catch. 84-yard touchdown. TD run. So he actually has wheels too. Look at this. Oh, he's pretty fast. Okay, so he's pretty much a dual threat. So that same year that he ran for, or that he threw 21 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, I think, he ran for 262 yards as well. And you can see that he can run. Not only he can throw, he can run. He got some speed on him. Okay. And here's him throwing right here, right over the middle. Oh, he just put that right where it needed to be. Good throw. Here's another one. And right over the shoulder, good throw and catch. So it's going to be another, another minute of this or so. He's running the ball again. Good play right there. You know, I'm not going to show all of this. This is pretty much, you kind of get the idea. I don't want to have the podcast side of people are sitting there waiting to you know, for me to move on, because it's going to be so much of me talking about him. So it's about a minute in. If you look at what he does, you really can see what he could do. Now, if you want to look at this video, you can go over to his Twitter page, his Twitter handle. What is his Twitter handle? I want to make sure I get that right. Let me see if I get that right for you guys. His Twitter handle is Brooks_Pangle. So you can go ahead and hit that Twitter page. Go follow him. Give him a follow over there. And you can is pinned tweet. The first tweet at the top, you can see all of his highlights right there as soon as you hit his Twitter up. Brooks_Pangle. So I don't want to hold you guys up, but I do like what I see. I mean, I am serious. It's just pretty good body of work when it comes to the highlights. So what does this mean for Georgia Southern? This is a really good question. What does this mean? Personally, I think Georgia Southern is going to be in good hands as far as quarterbacks for at least the next 4 years, no matter what happens. We're not, you got Kyle Van Treese is the guy right now that's the senior. I expect him to be the starter. Then you got guys like Cam Ransom, who's already been here, who we all thought that he's going to be the guy that leads the team for the next 4 years before the whole situation with Chad Lunsford. And you know what? Shout out to Chad Lunsford. He got hired as a FAU assistant coach. That is quite awesome. It's good to see him back into coaching. So that's great. So, and with that being said, we thought he was going to be the guy for the next 4 years until all this happened and Coach Helton came in, and Coach Helton decided, hey, let's get a bunch of quarterbacks. So you still got David Dallas and Zach Roseman, Quincy Bonner, Justin Tomlin. You got a handful of guys that no matter what happens, somebody's going to take the reins of running this offense. And is going to be a pretty consistent level of talent for the next 4 years at least. Because all these guys are coming in. Most of them are freshmen. You still got a sophomore with Cegelski and Ransom. I think Tomlin is still like a 6-year senior. You got Kyle Van Treese. I think he's a 6th or 7th year senior. You got some guys here that's going to be holding the torch for a while as far as making things happen for the Georgia Southern Eagles. The way I look at it, honestly, even though Kyle Van Treese is probably going to be the starter because of his experience, I would not be surprised if the competition is out there and anybody could get it. Anybody could get the starting job. And with that being said, it'd be very, very interesting if a walk-on like Pangle, or if David, I keep getting a mix-up between David and Josh. I want to say it's David. If David Dallas could get this starting job, Zach Roseman, my personal favorite, Cam Ransom, what if he gets the job? Because I've been a big fan of Cam Ransom before, any of these guys came to the school. And I do like Connor Cegelski as well. I like the way he played in the BYU game. I like the way he played a little bit against Appalachian State until, the wheels fell off in that game. But the BYU game was very telling. And I like the way that played out. So when we're looking at a situation here where you got all these quarterbacks, we are in very good hands when we're looking at this. I'm starting to think that Georgia Southern that's always been known for running back because you ran the flex bone option, and we had some phenomenal guys who ran the ball here at Georgia Southern for decades. It was just you knew when you played Georgia Southern, you better learn how to tackle, because we're gonna have some running backs that's gonna either run you over or run right past you. We have some quarterbacks that's gonna run right past you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, when we're looking at these guys, the way that Georgia Southern is structured now, there's really a new era in Georgia Southern football. You're going to have some stand-in-the-pocket quarterbacks that could probably take off on you if you don't watch it. You're going to have some mobile quarterbacks that can sling that football. Brooks Pangle, 56, 92, 52 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 2 years. You saw what, David Dallas was able to do. He was, what was he, state player of the year in this region? Cal Van Treese is very decorated. You saw what he was able to do at Buffalo. Cam Ransom, even though Cam Ransom was able to do some things in Armwood, Florida, at his high school, he was able to do some things at Georgia Southern plenty of times when he played. I mean, you saw the game before he got injured against FAU, we were taking control of that game. You saw when he got in the game and he threw a couple passes to Durham Burgess. You saw the Georgia State game when as soon as he got in the game, the whole team just changed. You saw Connor Zakowski when he was able to play because Cam Ransom and Justin Tomlin was not able to play. Zakowski came in and played very well against a top 15 team. BYU was 14 at the time. He played very well against a top 15 team. So as far as quarterbacks go, I mean, we're looking very good. We're looking very good. This now could be very well quarterback university. Just like when I just put it in the title. Welcome to QB University. Georgia Southern gets Brooks Pangle, a very talented quarterback from Greenbrier, the Evans area, near the Augusta area. I mean, what more can you say? Also, I want to tell you this. Brooks Pangle was the 2-time Offensive Player of the Year in Region 8-5A. This goes back to what I was saying about all these players that we're getting around the state of Georgia. I mean, we're getting players that are players of the year in their state. I'll go back and say it again. The David Dallases, the Mark Stampleys. I mean, you got Brooks Pangle. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of them I can't even remember. So when you got guys that like this who could throw the football, and you got guys that have that talent like that, and then we're going to talk about one of these episodes. We're going to talk about the receivers, where we have receivers, that are out here that just being recruited, or some that are actually talented already. Amari Jones is coming back. Then you turn around and you have Derwin Burgess, which was I don't want to say this in a bad way, but Derwin Burgess was highly underused last year, and he made plays when it was need to be. He can catch the ball and he can get past some defenders. So and then you turn around and we got Jason Thompson coming in. Oh God, I can't even name all the other guys that are coming in. Dalen Cobb is coming in. Oh man, I should have just pulled this up. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone real quick, so you guys could. We got some guys that are coming to the school. We got some guys that are going to be here, and unfortunately it's not on my phone right now, but that's unfortunate because I really could have told you guys all the guys that are coming, the plethora of receivers that are coming. We're going to talk about them later on in another episode. But I do remember the names like Dalen Cobb, and you got Jason Thompson, I think it's Jason Thompson, and a few others that I talked about in the Discord, which I highly recommend you guys check out the Discord, the First and Frame Race Discord, where we continuously talk about Georgia Southern sports and other sports in general. But we were just talking about it in the Discord, and we're like, man, this team is pretty loaded. You look at the receivers, you look at these quarterbacks that's coming in, and we already was good at running back. And we saw some of the guys that they recruited on the trenches in the line. Christian Varner is coming in to take place of CJ Wright. Hopefully Sean Pell-Kissin is on defense. Mr. Will Harris, Mr. Defensive Coordinator Will Harris. Will Sean Pell-Kissin be on defense? Please. The safeties, Derek Canteen is coming back. Najee Thompson's coming back. Bradley Glenn. I mean, look, the list goes on and on. We have a very talented team. I think the bounce back is going to be huge, and it's going to be a beautiful thing to see. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. In I think it's late March 23rd or something like that. Spring practice start. Oh man, I gotta find a way to get down there to see a couple of these spring practices. I'm definitely going to be at the spring game on April 23rd. So you guys, if you want to see me, me just come around and evaluate the team, you want to talk about the team in person, I'll be there. That'd be awesome. But this is a great time to be an Eagle. It's a great time. I mean, I can't think of one time that I remember. I mean, all this time when I was, I've been a Georgia Southern fan since the 80s. And I remember, very briefly of Tracy Ham, but I was really young. I really didn't watch him as much. I really didn't get into watching Georgia Southern until the later part of the 80s. And I used to watch him all the time. And then I remember watching the national championship game in 1990. But then, you watch, I remember watching Greg Hill. Greg Hill was one of my favorite quarterbacks from Georgia Southern. And but you had some other ones that was here too, but most of them was still athletic, style quarterbacks that ran the offense that we ran. Now we're running a more type of offense that you see in other college areas. It looks like it's going to be a more pro style offense, spread the field, stretch the field, probably somewhat of an air raid type offense. It's going to be really interesting to see the big turnaround, watching the blue and white throw the ball down the field. Seriously, throw the ball down the field. It's going to be really interesting to see. And it's something that I don't know if I'm really prepared for, because I'm not used to seeing a team like this do that. I mean, I was kind of nervous when I saw Cam Ransom was doing it. I was nervous when I saw Shao Wirtz was doing it, because Shao Wirtz used to throw that bomb over the top over App State or Georgia State. Darian Anderson would catch it. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. Mashad, Michael, I think it's Mashad, I think number 23, I can't remember his name. He used to catch the jump balls. It was a nervous time. So when I started watching Cam Ransom throw the ball and his first pass was a touchdown, I was like, okay, I don't know if I get used to this, but that was great. But down the road, you start to see more of Cam Ransom throw the ball, but now you're going to see it on a different level with a different playbook and different plays. And it's going to be really interesting to see. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm going to be here for it. And hopefully you guys will be here too. It's going to be pretty cool to see. So welcome to Quarterback University. Georgia Southern is officially, or I would just say unofficial, Quarterback University. These guys are pulling quarterbacks out of every part of Georgia and across the country. You got to think about it, man. Kyle Van Treese is from Ohio, and you got Cam Ransom from Florida. It's like, we got some guys, man. So it's pretty cool. So that will conclude the rest of the end of the show, episode 281 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I want to let you guys know I really, really appreciate you guys. I want you guys to also understand that this is a one-man show. I do all the production, I do all the editing, but I do it because I really love and I enjoy this. I'm not saying it to beat my chest or whatever, but I do have a passion for this. I've been pretty much wanting to do this all my life, to be honest with you. This is like a hobby of mine. Never thought it to be anything more than that, but right now, it is growing to something bigger than I thought it would, and it's all thanks to you guys. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Once again, if you like this content, if you enjoyed these last 22 minutes of this content, hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're on the podcast side and you've been loving these 22 minutes, give me a higher rating on the podcast side. Also, hit the subscribe button. And if you really, really enjoy this content, write a review. I got a review on the Apple podcast side of things, and I really enjoy it. That was my first review, and that's a big deal for me, because at one point I didn't think this was going to be the case where I can actually do content on Apple and Google device. I think it's really cool, and I really, really appreciate you guys for all of the help and support. One more time, if you want to go even further in supporting, you can hit that the Anchor podcast link that is down in the description of the podcast. I think they do either a one-time donation or a monthly donation, or also you can just go straight into my Cash App, which is VF Baller. That is definitely a one-time donation, and either way, every little bit helps. All it does is just keep the content flowing in the right direction. And like I said, it's all for you guys. It really is. It's not just for me to say, hey, I like my teams and this. No, I want to give you guys the best content possible. So hopefully you guys will check all that stuff out. I really appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Hopefully your week is going well. I can't complain for too much on my end. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. We'll find another topic to talk about, whether it be Atlanta Falcons or Georgia Southern football. Either way, I hope to make it entertaining for you guys to continue to hang around. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one. Peace.